Om. Om. Sahana Bhavatu. Sahanao Bhunaktu. Sah Viryam Karavavahai. Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti. 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 The 4th of Jan, we had the small group discussion on the topic of strength of emotion. 3 questions are there in today's class. We'll take it one by one. First is Group 1. Group 1, Vijay, Mukund, Shweta, and Manali. Questioner Manali. When I see destruction, example, vandalism, how do I manage my emotions to stop acting impulsively? How do I determine which desires are driving my emotions and need for action? How do I decide what to do? So, Manali, where is Manali? Manali is not there. Vipasha, where is Didi?
She actually fell on the ice this week, and
Oh,
she's still got quite a bad concussion.
oh
She
my
had to
God.
be taken to hospital. So she's okay, had scans and everything done,
Okay.
but she's still bad headaches and dizziness.
Oh
So
no.
otherwise, she would definitely be.
Obviously, yes. That's what I was. Okay.
Yeah,
So
no, so
is she at home or in hospital?
no, she's at home.
She's at home
She's at
recovering.
home, but yeah, she lost orientation. She didn't know where she was. She didn't, it was,
Ah,
yeah, it was a bad concussion. So hopefully she should be back next week.
yes, yes, of course. Okay. Mm.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll answer it and she can see the recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I see destruction, example vandalism, how do I manage my emotions to stop acting impulsively? Now, when you take something like vandalism, now what is vandalism? It doesn't need too much of analysis. It's very clear that it is something that is driven by a bad emotion. Now, you could be impulsive in a good way, you could be impulsive in a bad way. See, suppose you want to give something to somebody and you end up giving more than you anticipated. And after that fellow goes, you say, oh my God, I should have given less. I gave more impulsively. You understand? That is also impulsive, but it is at least a good impulsive. You understand? Now, bad impulsive is when it is harmful for others and eventually harmful for you as well. Now, when you see destruction, first thing you understand is it is uh, a bad emotion. Somebody who wants to destroy, somebody who wants to harm. Now, whether that person is doing impulsively or not, we don't know. In other words, it could be a very calculated vandalism. It could be an orchestrated vandalism, or it could be an impulsive vandalism. We don't know. But vandalism, at least we know that it is a negative action per se. Now, when you see negativity in the world, when you see things which are done wrongly in the world, the first thing you have to understand is it is part of the world. You can't change it. So just because there is negativity, it doesn't mean you freak out. You understand it's a part of life, it's a part of the world, because world means pairs of opposites. Good and bad will exist together in the world. Right and wrong will exist together in the world. That is a definition of the world, the nature of the world. The proportion varies from time to time. Sometimes the goodness is more, sometimes the badness is more. But you can't eradicate badness from the world, neither can you eradicate goodness from the world. So, in other words, even when things get really bad, you have to understand what the same thing in reverse, that goodness will be there. You can't eradicate goodness. There's always hope. Understand that this vandalism and even worse things than vandalism, terrorism, and all sorts of things are part of the world. You can't change it. There's not. See, even when the police they go and catch somebody, and they put them behind bars. Same time they're catching somebody, putting them behind bars. There's 25 others doing in another part of the country. You understand? So you can't stop everything, but whatever best you can do, depending upon your obligation, you can do that. What is your obligation? You've got to be very clear. You get enraged by negativity in the world, but how should you act is you channelize it through your obligation, through your duties. See, for example, uh, we are teaching Vedanta. We want people to learn Vedanta. So when you see negativity, what should it remind you? My God, I wish this knowledge spreads even more. I wish more people have access to this and it'll help them to get out of these kind of negative actions. It should reinforce the importance of our obligation to pass on Vedanta, not talk about the politics and say, oh, okay, I don't know why the government is not doing this. But that's not, you've got nothing to do with that. You look at your obligation. What can you do through your obligation? The tendency of the mind is to focus on what others are doing rather than what you are doing. All the discussion, all the thing is about what others are doing. Forget about what others are doing. What can I do something about it? But you should do it in a intellectual manner, not an impulsive manner, which is what Manali is saying. How can I stop acting impulsively? I don't want to act impulsively. Then the only way you can do that is to channelize it through your own duties. What can I do? Through my duties, can I help the world? Can I help the community? It could be in a very small way. Doesn't matter small or big. What can I do? How do I determine which desires are driving my emotions and need for action? How do I decide what to do? That's the thing. The principle is you've got to fall back on your duties and obligations. It's a reminder for us to do our duties even more. Even when you see children uh, being abused, uh, what do you understand? See, the parents are not doing their duties correctly. The parents are doing the duties correctly. If the relatives, the larger family unit is doing the duty correctly, then the child won't be harmed. So there's a problem in that social structure. Somewhere these duties are not being done correctly. Now, what can you do about it? You ensure that you maintain that social structure in your own way. How can you do your duty towards your family with an idea that it will set an example? It's all ripple effects, you know. You do something, it'll have an effect on the neighbor. A neighbor will have an effect on his neighbor. You never know where that ripple effect can start. It's like a stone. You throw the stone into the pond, the ripple starts. Now, who is going to be the person who is going to throw the stone first? It could very well be you. You won't even know that you're causing that ripple. From your side, whatever best you can do, you focus on that. Understanding it may not solve the problem, but that's what the world is. The world is in a direction which we don't understand why it is going in the direction. Maybe it's going to head for destruction in 5 years. Maybe it's going to head for destruction in 50 years. Who knows? We don't know. The principle is that you operate on known, you don't operate on unknown. Whatever you know, you operate on that. There are thousand unknown factors which we don't know. You can't keep digging into all that. In the first chapter of the Gita, Arjuna is talking about the destruction of the caste system. He's talking about all sorts of things. And he's not looking at his own duty, his own obligation to fight. Instead of it, he's talking about all sorts of things which doesn't relate to him. So you manage your emotions by understanding it is part of the world. And sometimes it is calculated vandalism, sometimes it is impulsive vandalism. Difficulty is for a good person to understand a bad person and a bad person to understand a good person. A person who is good and kind and honest, it's very difficult for that person to understand how can a person be evil? How can a person be destructive? See, suppose you're a vegetarian, you're a vegan, you can't understand how can people eat meat, kill animals and eat meat and enjoy that meal. It's difficult. Similarly, a person who is bad cannot understand how a person can be good. Hey, what are you giving money for charity? Who is going to help you? Why are you wasting your money on charity? Uh, they're all corrupt. You know, these charities are all corrupt. You look after yourself. See, a person who is negative or selfish can't think of unselfishness. It's very difficult for that person to understand what unselfishness is. As so many people are giving, what are you giving? Don't worry, that charity will take care of itself. Who are you to give? There will be so many people who will take care. So people will stop you from giving. The That's what you need to almost force yourself to understand what negativity is if you're a positive person. Uh, Vice versa. Negative person has to force themselves to understand what positivity is. So, how do I decide what to do? At that moment, when you start thinking in these lines, then the intellect will automatically open up a path. We can't say right now what is it that you need to do. It depends upon the situation, depends upon whom you're dealing with. There's so many factors which are there. But at that moment, if your thinking is right, then the intellect will open up a path for you. You will know what to do, provided you think in these lines. Okay. Manali is not there to clarify. So we'll move on to anybody else wants any clarification. If not, next question. Group two, Tony, Rajesh, and Laura. Questioner Rajesh. Unfulfilled desires leads to mental agitation, and fulfilling desires lead to more desires. Again, with mental agitations and sorrow. How do we then manage our desires? Rajesh feels he's in an impossible situation in life. Huh? Rajesh's question is, if I fulfill my desires, I'm in trouble. It leads to a mental agitation sorrow. If I don't fulfill my desires, is again mental agitation and sorrow. What do you want me to do? Rajesh is asking. Rajesh, we sympathize with you. How do we then manage our desires? They, you're only looking at one option. That's you're looking at fulfilling desires. What about eradicating desires, reducing desires, controlling desires? You've not considered that option. That's why you're feeling stuck. Unfulfilled desires lead to mental agitations. Now, what happens with unfulfilled desires is now what it means is your mind is entertaining these desires impulsively. The desires on their own starts wanting. I want it, I want it, I want it, and that demand of the desire is what is causing the agitations. There's a constant demand of the desires, and that's natural. Or left to their own, the desires are demanding. I want it. I want it. I want it. That is causing agitations. Now, what Vedanta is saying is, okay, you fulfill the desire, you give the desire what it wants. Temporarily, it is satisfied, no doubt. But again, the demand starts. It's like a child. You feel that feed the child for a while, it is quiet. Then again, it starts crying. Ah, 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 ah. So it's like that. The mind is like that. Keeps demanding, 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 and demand is endless. What is recommended is that you don't leave the desire unchecked. Don't leave the desire to its own accord. So make sure that you monitor the desire, make sure that you factor in the desires. You don't leave it unchecked. When the desire comes up, as early as possible, if you can detect the demand of the desire very early, you can solve it much quicker. But if you detect the demand later, the agitations have already built up. But whatever it is, at any point of time, when you detect that demand of the desire, Then you've got to analyze the desire, you've got to assess the desire, examine the desire, not just impulsively go about fulfilling it. So the intellect can do two things. The intellect, so when you detect the demand of the desire, the intellect can start operating in order to fulfill the desire. Or the intellect can examine the desire, question the desire. That questioning of the desire makes all the difference. All that you're asked to do is, see, when we talk about controlling desire, what is controlling desire? Question the desire. Hey, what do you want, man? Why do you want it? Huh? What is it? And if you have children and you have children, you know that the moment you ask them, why do you want it? What happens? They don't like it. Teenagers don't like it. Oh, the moment you question them, they say, that's it. Oh, so you don't want to give me, is it? Okay, fine. They'll go into the room and close the door. Hey, I just want to have a conversation with you. Even they don't want to even have a conversation. No, 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 that is exactly how a desire is. Desire is the moment you start questioning, the desire doesn't like it. I just want it. I just want it. Just give it to me. Just give it to me. Oh, you don't like me. Oh, you don't love me. That's why you don't want to give me. There are all sorts of tantrums the teenager throws just to get what the teenager wants. Similarly, your desires keep throwing these tantrums. And that's what you've got to be alert. When the you should be prepared for the tantrums. What you have to tell yourself is, see, I don't need to watch Netflix this week. Free movie I'm getting in my own house. Free movie is happening here. Free tantrums. Or same thing we're watching on TV. Uh, Live ringside seat I'm getting to all these tantrums. So enjoy the film. That's all. The film happening in your own house. This is you don't love me. Nobody loves me in this house. Yeah, correct. It's sad. It's sad. You should have got a better family. I don't know why you were born to us. Very sad. We also feel sorry for you, my dear. So all tantrums at that time, you you laugh at, you smile at it. That's Krishna. You smiled at Arjuna. When Arjuna was crying, Krishna was smiling. So heartless. So you understand that. That's how it should. That's how the mind is. And what you should do with the intellect is to question it. Question that desire. You do it once, the mind won't like it. You do it twice, it won't like it. But then if you keep doing it again and again, then the mind gets used to it. Thereafter, the fifth time you do it, or sixth time you do it, the mind will not be as rebellious. It will slowly calm down. Now, it could be the 10th time. It depends upon how strong the desire is. But you've got to persist with your questioning. Now, what you may be thinking about is, but even then the desire is unfulfilled, won't it lead to mental agitations? Now, here is where the difference is. Yes, it is unfulfilled, but you're attending to that desire, you're attending to the mind. What it means when it says unfulfilled desires lead to mental agitation is when left on its own. When you're not doing anything about the mind and leave it on its own, unfulfilled desire will lead to agitation. But now you're doing something about it. You're questioning the desire. Now, even though it is unfulfilled, it will not lead to mental agitation. In the initial stage, yes, it'll be a little bit of agitation because of that rebellious nature of the mind. But eventually, you'll find that you get the better of the mind over a period of time. Start with those desires which you know are not right for you. There are certain desires which you know you shouldn't be fulfilling. It could be overeating, it could be oversleeping, it could be over talking, it could be less talking, it could be whatever. Anything which you know I shouldn't be doing, I should change, you know it. Start with those areas. Question, just question. That's it, nothing else. Just question. When the desire comes up, just question. What are you doing this? Where is this going to take me? What will be the consequences of this action? It's the questioning which is the controlling factor, nothing else. Questioning of the desire is controlling the desire. Can you imagine? What does that mean? Means people don't even question the desire. You understand? The absurdity is that nobody wants to even question their desire. So much you're scared of your mind. So if you don't question the mind for all these small, small things, how can you question the mind eventually about the reality of this world? The mind is treating this world as real, and you need to get out of this unreal world. How can you achieve that if you can't question the smaller things? So the intellectual strength is to be able to question the desire. You develop the intellect, build the intellect, you start questioning it. One of the writers, he says, when the fight begins within, then you're a man. When the fight begins within, this is the fight. The fight is when you start questioning it, the mind starts rebelling. That's when you on the right path. You all know that quality called Purushatvam. Purushatvam is given in the scriptures as one of the qualities of a spiritual person. Purushatvam is quality of manliness. What is that manliness? This is that manliness, the capacity to stand up to your own desires. A woman might have this more than a man. So it's nothing to do with a male person or a female, or it's a male quality. Male attribute is that to stand up. Does that help, Rajesh?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Basili.
Ah, that's clear. Okay.
I was just saying, so basically, is it like you preempt the desires with a prepared plan and just stick to it? Yeah? Then you don't have the chance of the desire, the less chance of desires coming because you already have a plan and you're just sticking to that.
Plan. Yes, you can come up with a plan, but that comes later. First is you need to question it. And then once you get used to that questioning, then you can devise other methods. You can have some plans. You can put other things in place. But first of all, you've got to question the desire, not just impulsively fulfill it. See,
Uh,
even things like invitation. Somebody invites you, and you say, "Okay, I have to go." No, no. Why do I have to go? You question it. We're not saying don't go. But just question, first of all, is it necessary for me to go to accept this invitation or not? In that way, every single thing, just examine it, just question it. Why are we not questioning it? It's because you want to go, you want to fulfill the desire. That's why you don't want to question. Sorry. Yes, Meena?
Bhaskar, so how at that point you're questioning your desire, but then justification will come along. So how do you know when your mind is justifying the action? So you want to fulfill that desire. You have to keep questioning that justification as well.
You have to almost accept that agitation and learn to live with that agitation. The reason why the mind wants to justify is you want that peace, you want that happiness through fulfilling the desire. You don't want to stay with that agitation. See, the mind doesn't like agitation. You want to get to that peace. So when agitation comes, you say, okay, 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 no, no, no. Like if there's any confrontation, you say, okay, okay, no, 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 leave it, leave it. It's okay, it's okay. It's like that. So you're telling your own mind, it's okay, okay, don't get agitated. Fine, fine. You want to fulfill it, fulfill it. So you almost have to learn to live with that positive agitation of confronting the mind. Otherwise, we get scared. Oh my God, what's going to happen? But once you learn this knowledge, you know nothing bad is going to happen. It's just the fact that the mind is not used to being questioned that it starts getting agitated, it starts getting worked up. In other words, you have spoiled the mind. And now when you're questioning it, the mind doesn't like it. But nothing bad will happen. It's just that I need to be consistent with this questioning and be determined with it. And eventually the mind will come around. Like even a diet, suppose you want to follow a diet and you're following a diet. It's like that. The mind says, no, 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 I can't. I need to eat. I need to eat. I need this thing. You say, listen, just keep quiet, just wait. It's okay. You have to stay with that hunger. You know, you have to stay with that hunger. That's the only way you can achieve the diet. Little bit more hunger, which your mind is not used to. Interestingly, even hunger, it's not the physical hunger which is the problem. It is the mind feeling of the hunger which is the problem. Sometimes when you're busy doing things, you don't eat and you're hungry, but it doesn't affect you because you're so busy with other things. You got to attend to other things. Even though people will tell you eat, no, 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 it's okay, it's okay. I've got to finish these things, then I'll eat. So hunger is not a problem, but it's the mind which is a problem. Certain times the mind will say, no, 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 you can't, you can't. So there you have got to tell your mind, I need to stay with this hunger. Like that mental agitation, you've got to stay with that agitation a little bit when you know it is positive for you. that talking about hunger, that one lady, she called the doctor, family doctor. She was in India, and please come, doctor. My son has got a stomach problem. And the doctor comes home and examines the son. And what has happened is nothing wrong with the stomach. First time that boy is feeling hunger. It is hunger the fellow is thinking is a stomach problem. And she's calling the family doctor for that. So the doctor is coming and saying, he just needs food, nothing else. You understand? But he's never experienced hunger. So he's thinking hunger is a stomach problem, you know. So it's exactly like that. So if you're fulfilling the desires impulsively, it almost becomes a norm. So if you don't fulfill it, the mind freaks out. You get agitated. Well, let it get agitated. So a little bit the mind has to go through all that. That is why the desire for happiness is a problem. The desire for happiness is an impediment to getting happiness. The desire for happiness itself becomes an impediment to us achieving happiness. But the moment the desire for happiness comes, you want to fulfill the desire, get happiness. You're looking at getting happiness the short way, the easy way, the quick way, which becomes an impediment in the long run. The desire to satisfy our hunger is an impediment to our health. The desire to get happiness is an impediment to getting happiness. As long as you're happy, it's fine. That's all I want for you, is as long as you're happy, I'm fine. What is it? Nothing to do with whether the person is happy or not, whether the person is going in the right direction in life. That is more important rather than whether they're happy or not. A person may want to give up his life to save somebody else. He may think that is the right thing to do. So it's not happiness. It is what is the right thing to do. The mind is its own enemy. You have to remember that. The mind is its own enemy. Tony, unmute, Tony.
Sorry.
Ah,
Carry on, Basketball.
carry on.
Rajesh in his question also talked about the agitation when you, let's say you've decided, you've been through the process that you've talked about and established that you should pursue certain action or desire. And then what inevitably, well, for me anyway, what inevitably happens is that further agitations happen as a result of implementing that action. No doubt, mainly, because I suppose, as we're taught in Vedanta, because the mind wants it all to go smoothly, and the world doesn't allow that to happen.
Mm.
So there's the ongoing even after you've been through that. Certainly, I suppose if your intellect is that strong, you anticipate all the problems. But the reality that I felt Rajesh was speaking to is the fact that even if we go through that intellectual pre-analysis, so to speak,
Mm.
to dampen the agitations of the desire, then there's still, one still is left with a lot of agitations in implementation, the next stage in action.
Obviously, Tony. See, the other desires also uh, are, you have to take that into play. You're talking about one desire, but that one desire, you're trying to rationalize this one desire, and you're trying to
Yeah, I
overcome.
see what you're saying. Yes,
Then
yes,
the
yes.
other another desire also gets affected. Then a
Yeah,
third desire could get affected.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not the same desire which could be creating problems, the same problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Associated desires as well.
Yes, it's
Uh,
like
what-
the story of the man who gets married and then he thinks he only wants a partner, but then he
mm,
actually wants a child as well, and then he wants a healthy child.
mm, mm. See, it's like, see, suppose uh, um, you have desire for society. See, what will others think of me? Sometimes
Mm.
you decide to do the right things, but then how will the society perceive me? How will my friends perceive me? Those
Yeah,
desires are there. Then when that desire may be very strong. So for that reason, you may again come back to your own desire and say, I'll fulfill the desire for the sake of
mm.
society, or sake of friends. You understand? So it's very complex. It's not just one desire
Yeah,
you're dealing with. When you're dealing with one desire, there are so many associated desires which stop you.
yeah,
You almost have to, it's like a Pandora's box. When you start picking up one desire, other things all come up.
mm.
Like a plumbing problem. One small thing you want to rectify, one part of the thing, another part of the pipe, that thing, everything, the thing, it comes up. So uh, this is another thing. I'm glad you asked, because this is another factor you got to consider when you start questioning, that it won't be just one thing that will come up. Multiple areas, these agitations will come up. Like even when I'm answering one question, and the person who is asking the question, they may feel satisfied, but then the other people in the class, they start asking other questions associated with that. It's like that.
Mm.
It just branches
Mm.
off in different areas. Uh, the same thing is happening within us. It just, one thing you start with, it just branches off in different areas.
Mm.
So you just smile at that and understand, what am I getting into? I started with this one thing, it's gone into something else, something else. Oh God, this mind is, it's not easy.
Thank you.
That's why a little bit of devotion also helps, because in devotion, what you do is you shut yourself out of all this intellectual exercise, and gives a calmness to the mind. Because beyond a point, it becomes too much to persist with mere intellectual analysis. It may feel like escapism. It's not escapism. So devotion is when you almost cut off all the intellectual thing and just stay with that emotion, the higher emotion. Devotion is, some practice of devotion is essential. Either visiting a temple or a church, mosque, or listening to some songs. Even when you're going for a walk on your own, you listen to some songs. All that will help. In fact, when you do more of intellectual exercise, you'll feel the need for devotion even more. When the players, when they go and play, and after the play, all their muscles are tired, the physio or the therapist, they do the massage for them, or sometimes they have an ice bath. You know, devotion is like that. You get punched and punched, when the intellectual thing happens, you get punched. Devotion is to soothe your mind a little bit. It gives you a chance to recover. Like that song, Chakkani Raja, where Tyagaraja himself is saying, he's addressing mind directly. He's saying, oh mind, when there's a royal path in front of you, why are you going into bylanes? Chakkani Raja Margamurundaga. Why are you going into bylanes when there's a right royal path in front of you? It's like that. So these masters also communicated the knowledge through those songs, the same principles. And third is, of course, the activity, the karma yoga. So jnana yoga is this process of questioning the mind. Bhakti yoga is the process of soothing the mind. And karma yoga is the process of keeping the mind active. Bhavan?
Hariram Baskaji.
Hari.
When we back to the Bhakti Yoga and talking about the practice of devotion and talking about soothing the mind, what are we soothing the mind from?
You're just understanding that the mind also has a capacity. You can't see, what are you doing all this controlling for? What are you doing when you're questioning the mind? Ultimately, you want the mind to be happy. See, ultimately, you're rehabilitating the mind. You're making the mind happy. Ultimately, you want it to be happy. So, if you control the mind too much, the mind won't be able to take it beyond a point. So you do it up to a certain point, and then through bhakti, you almost soothe the mind. It gets too intense for the mind. Keep on questioning. It's exactly like a child. You understand that you keep on, you can't do that too much to the child. Child can't take it. So you do a little bit, and then you say, okay, come on, let's sit down, let's watch something, whatever, with a child, and make it feel good. Everything like that, you're doing it because you understand the mind doesn't have the capacity to go all out and keep questioning. So little bit you do that, little bit you then keep it active during the day. Whole day is active, so that it's uh, again distracted from the desires. Activity distracts from the desires as well. Activity is useful. Devotion is useful. Different methods we are trying. So different methods we are all the capacity we have, all the equipments we have, we are utilizing it as much as we can. You see that in people who don't do that, who don't do the devotion, and who just keep on questioning and analyzing. You see their personality. Their personality doesn't blossom. They become very frustrated. Intellectual frustration sets in. They become very negative. Ultimately, you got to be cheerful. End of it all, you got to be cheerful. It is not destroying the mind. See, the purpose of the spiritual path is not to destroy the mind. The purpose is to educate the mind, to elevate the mind. That is the difference. It's not to destroy the mind. When you elevate the mind, then you go beyond the mind at the final stage. You elevate yourself so much that you go beyond your mind and intellect itself. But that's not in a negative way. By destroying the mind, you can't achieve that. Okay. One more question. The same group. Questioner is Tony. Are all desires which are sanctioned by intellect always unselfish? If it is sanctioned by intellect, is it necessarily unselfish? It depends upon the goal. Yeah, what is the goal is a question. If so, in other words, it's not necessary that it will be unselfish. You can also have a selfish action directed by the intellect. A selfish person is successful because they are using the intellect. But as you keep developing the intellect, then slowly you become unselfish. It's a transition. From that selfishness, you move to unselfishness. But that comes through the upliftment of the intellect. When the intellect, it's like almost you go beyond that boundary wall, then you see things outside. It's like that. So as you keep developing, you see unselfishness, you see the benefits of unselfishness. That's why when we give the advice, we say, doesn't matter even if it is selfish, keep using the intellect. In the beginning, when you could have a selfish goal, I want to make money, I want to be more powerful. It doesn't matter. You have those desires, but keep using the intellect. And eventually, as the intellect develops, then you will understand that it is better to be unselfish. It could be a underdeveloped intellect. See, underdeveloped intellect is selfish, but it is still intellect. You understand? So you can't say that it's always unselfish. The moment you start thinking about being unselfish and start thinking about higher things, then your intellect becomes free. See, otherwise, what happens is the intellect gets tied down with all these selfish desires, fulfilling the selfish desires, taking care of selfish things. It gets tied down so much that it doesn't have time for anything higher. So when you start becoming unselfish, you feel so free from all these selfish things. Which then you realize unnecessarily I've been spending so much time on these selfish things. Spending time in the sense what? Mainly worrying. The selfish thing is all the worries. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my children? What's going to happen? Finances? What's going to happen to this or that? That is the thing. Selfish worries is that is the main problem. So Vipasha has joined today. Nitin has joined. Ah, good. Good to see you.
Can I ask a question, Bhaskarji?
Yes, yes. Why are you hesitating? Ask boldly. Ah,
I've been in this question of I can see the devotion, and devotion can be applied to soothe the mind. Personally, I use it as a a walk in nature to soothe the mind or whatever. The question now is, you, in all this, you need to apply your intellect and then discern exactly which path to take. In other words, you did correct saying that you do not act impulsively and do all the actions proactively. But a lot of times you still impulse in when you look at it, it's through your vasanas. Now, how do you discern between what those vasanas, which ones to act and not to act on?
Intellect is very weak. That's what it is. It's like muscles. Your muscles are very weak. You're not able to lift anything. You've got to strengthen the intellect. Unless you strengthen it, you will not be able to discern. Do you wake up in the morning and study?
I do sometimes, not every
No,
day.
what sometimes? Once a year.
Once a year.
Huh?
No,
Sometimes.
no,
What
bit
sometimes?
more than that.
Huh? Twice a year, okay. Huh? Sometimes when you say only I know, it's very rarely. Huh?
So it's
You've got to be
discipline.
consistent. Consistently, you wake up morning, you study, and you'll see the difference then. There you go. You have to strengthen the intellect. And when you strengthen the intellect, you'll see the difference externally first. You will see the difference in the way you maintain the environment around you, in your physical body. You'll see it in your relationship. You'll see everything like that gradually. So you got to make that little extra effort. See, you have that interest, you have that consistency. You've been attending very consistently for years, but effort a little bit. If you step up the effort, you'll see the benefits will be even more.
Thank you.
Okay. So we are back now. Back on track. Small GD, big GD. So that's how it works. Vipasha, I hope they explained to you. Next week will be small GD, small group discussion. Nitin, next week come for small group discussion. That'll be even better than this big group discussion. You're all discussing because you won't have me bugging you all. You can all discuss freely among yourselves. That's why it is better a small group discussion. No, I'm seriously saying it's very useful to open up your own thinking and examine your own thinking. Is very, very useful. And this combination is very good. Small group 1 week, big group another week. All right. Okay, everyone. On that note, let's conclude. See you all. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Carry on,
Thank you.
Baskaji.
Thanks,
Bye.
Baskaji.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Everyone.
Bhaskar.
Thank
There you
you.
go.
Happy New
Okay.
Year, everyone.
Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Yes.
Year.
Okay. Okay, Laura.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.